Hey, Jonathan. Okay, so just for a quick review here, because I think you're probably fine when we have a percent that has exactly two digits. There should be no trouble translating that to a decimal. But let's just think about if we have 5%, how do we change that to a decimal? We know that we're going to have a zero and a little decimal point. And then we have to be careful because instead of putting the 5 directly in, we want to make sure that we have a leading, a placeholding zero. So a little placeholding zero there between the decimal point and and the 5 to let us know that that is 5% and not 50%. So same idea here to change 8% to a decimal, 0 point, and then we have to remember 0.8 for that one digit number to hold the place that was not needed over here. We don't really need a zero here, but we do need it in the decimal column. So over here, when we have 0.07, we can express that as a percent just as 7%. So now it's safe to drop that zero. And in most cases, we will. We really don't need to have these zeros here. I'm just putting them in as examples, but 5%, 8%, 7%. And now this would be 3%. Again, no need of the zero. But now the question comes, a couple of questions arise. Let's see, this. How's that? What happens if we have 0.123? Now we've got a decimal with 3 places. And the way that we write this is for the first time, we're going to write a percentage that also has a decimal point in it. So the way that we do this is we're going to take this decimal point and we're going to move it over 1 place, 2 places, and note that that decimal point would go right in there if we move the decimal point to the right by 2 places. And when we do that, to 12.3, and now we have a percentage. That works just as well if we have, for example, 0.5555. And we can rewrite that by moving this decimal point 2 places to the right. And that will give us 55.55%. Okay. And then let's think about in reverse. What would happen if we were given 89.2%? Now, in this case, we want to change to a decimal. So we take this decimal point and we push it over 2 spaces, giving us, here's the decimal point, and I'm just going to copy 892. And now we've sort of gotten used to putting a 0 in front. Remember, it's not strictly necessary. And if your teacher doesn't like it or doesn't want it there, you can drop it. But for the moment, we'll sort of adopt the convention that we're putting that 0 in. And so let's move you up a little bit. What about if we have 76.543%? Let's see. If we want to change this again, we're going to take this decimal point and move it over 2 places. That gives us, here's the decimal point, 76543. And I'm going to put the 0 in the front. And that's how we change decimals that have more than 2 decimal places or percents that have that themselves have decimals. That's how we will change things out. Okay? And see you in the next video.